The same mine-to-market route that anthracite coal once took via the Lehigh and Delaware Canals and the Lehigh Valley Railroad now welcomes walkers, bicyclists, runners, and other outdoor enthusiasts. The D&L Trail is a 165-mile network of canals, towpaths, railroad tracks, and right-of-ways.
The D&L Trail is sort of the centerpiece of the Delaware and Lehigh National Heritage Corridor. The corridor itself was designated by Congress in 1988 to really preserve and celebrate the story of anthracite coal moving from mine to market, from the anthracite region, Carbon and Luzerne, down through the Lehigh Valley and down to the Port of Philadelphia.
It runs from Luzerne County through Carbon, Lehigh, Northampton, and Bucks counties.
All sections of trail that are possible are built along canal towpath or on historic rail bed. Sometimes it's rail with trail. All of it is following that transportation route.
It's great for short walks or runs from any trailhead. Or you can hike or bike long stretches for a day-long adventure, or several days, taking in half or the whole trail.
We have an accommodations list that people can build their own, 3-day itinerary. There are loads of choices.
We run a multi-day trip, but we also outfit folks for multi-day trips.
We like to go biking. We do long distance biking. Sometimes we'll do multi-day trips, spend the night, stop and eat in towns.
I use a trail because it keeps my mind healthy.
It's busy enough that you can be by yourself if you want to, but you never know who you're going to run into, and that's kind of fun. It's an unexpected pleasure.
I use it for cycling and hiking. And I take my dog with me too. I pull her behind me in my cart, so it's a lot of fun.
I just enjoy being out in nature. And it's a nice, convenient trail, and it's a beautiful area.
We go all year round. If the trail's in decent condition and it's just a little nippy, you can wear proper clothing and still have a great time.
As we continue our look at the 37-mile section of the D&L Trail that runs from the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania to the northern Lehigh Valley, this video will focus on the Lehigh Gap region. Heading south out of Carbon County, we leave Riverview Park at mile marker 97. It's a 3-mile stretch along an old railroad bed to the Lehigh Gap. The D&L Trail serves as a backbone and a connector to a number of other trails in the region.
They in turn connect to many others on the East Coast. Between
East Penn and Lehigh Gap, you'll encounter the Lehigh and New England Trail, with a series of other looping trails. The LNE follows an old railroad bed 100 feet up the mountain. It runs parallel to the D&L Trail below, taking you on a 2.5-mile path out to the Pennsylvania Turnpike tunnels. But most notably, when you reach Lehigh Gap, you'll be able to jump on the Appalachian Trail as it intersects with the D&L Trail at this point. The Appalachian Trail stretches from Georgia to Maine as it passes through Pennsylvania. You can use it to cross the Lehigh River and access Blue Mountain Resort, a trail-friendly business a few miles away.
If you're going to do the D&L and the Appalachian Trail, Lehigh Gap Nature Center is really the best place to do that. We're at the junction of both of the trails here, so we have our own connecting trails that access both of those trails.
The trailhead at mile marker 94 is at the Lehigh Gap, which is just south of the Carbon-Lehigh County line.
Here you'll find the Lehigh Gap Nature Center.
Lehigh Gap Nature Center is a great place to see wildlife. We have a 756-acre wildlife refuge. It's all protected. We have our own trails, so folks can definitely venture off of the D&L and check out what we have to offer here. And we also have a visitor center that's open whenever volunteer is available. We have restrooms and drinking fountains inside.
The Lehigh Gap is a geological and environmental wonder where the Lehigh River carved through the ridges of the Appalachian Mountains.
You can see things that prefer to live in aquatic environments, but also migratory birds, bears and foxes and other animals that prefer to spend their time in the mountains. So there's definitely a lot you can experience from one trail because of where the D&L Trail runs.
There's an amazing amount of biodiversity here, from wetlands and ponds to forested slopes and grasslands. The center maintains a network of mountainside trails that connect to the D&L Trail.
So you can make a full day of that. You can park here at our Osprey House and hike up the Appalachian Trail, back down our trails and onto the D&L.
The center is also a great place to learn more about the region.
So we have programs throughout the year. It's all on our website, lgnc.org. And if for whatever reason our building is not open, we have brochures on the front porch that have all kinds of wildlife that you can see on the refuge.
2 miles south of the Lehigh Gap is the town of Slatington.
It's another trail town and a great place to take a break. We've heard it said time and time again, one of the best rest stops along the D&L Trail. A great place for folks to park their bikes, kind of stretch out their legs, and grab a bite to eat.
You can take a break here, walk into the downtown, and get food and supplies.
So right across the street from the trailhead in Slatington is Sal's Pizza, some of the best hoagies and pizza you can get in the area. Also there's Donna's Cafe offering breakfast and lunch right across the street from the trailhead. And parked right there in the lot is Diggity Dog. So if you're looking for a hot dog, some of the best homemade pierogies, you're going to find it right there at the trailhead.
This area right here is the greatest spot though for bikers. Everyone stops and eats at the Diggity Dogs, and Keith has awesome food, and it's great to get a breakfast sandwich in there when I have the opportunity.
You can also follow the Slate Heritage Trail, which starts at the D&L Trail and goes west to the town of Slatedale. Slatington is where slate was discovered in 1844, leading to the birth of an important industry. The rock was ideal for making roofing shingles, pencils, and chalkboards. Across the Lehigh River from Slatington is a spur of the D&L Trail, which takes you into the town of Walnutport in Northampton County. To get there, take the Route 873 bridge to access the 4-mile-long spur. It runs north and south between the Lehigh River and the canal. You can access stores in town by following Main Street.
You could find a lot of options as far as fast food. We do have a Burger King, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Subway is right over there. There's also a grocery store, so if you need to pick up a few things, replenish your snacks and your Gatorade, it's available in Walnutport.
You can learn more about the history of the Lehigh Canal in Walnutport. Here it runs parallel to the Lehigh River. Mules used the land between the two to pull boats that were used to move anthracite coal to Easton, New York, and Philadelphia. Today, that same path makes up the D&L Trail here. You can also visit the lock tender's house. Built around 1828, it's one of the last stone lock tender houses on the 46 miles of canal. Leaving the Slatington-Walnutport region, you'll head south along the Lehigh River to the Lehigh Valley.
In Easton, you'll pass the National Canal Museum.
Located at mile marker 61 at Hugh Moore Park in Easton is the National Canal Museum. This is the home of the Delaware and Lehigh National Heritage Corridor, the keepers of the D&L Trail. We'll have more on the museum right after this.
I think it's great for folks to understand that the D&L Trail is really the spine of the National Heritage Corridor. The D&L National Heritage Corridor is one of 55 heritage areas in the country. We are designated by Congress, so we have federal legislation that denotes that we are a nationally significant area, and I think it's important for residents to realize that significant history that we have and be proud of it. The region is amazing. And we are really glad that we can work with so many partners to connect the industrial heritage, the economic development, the health and wellness, and the outdoor recreation and nature and the environment.
In Easton, Pennsylvania, you'll find the National Canal Museum at Hugh Moore Park, where America's golden age of canals is on full display.
So we basically tell the story that the Delaware and Lehigh National Heritage Corridor is founded on. We're talking about the historic pathway that brought anthracite coal from the Pocono Mountains in Luzerne and Carbon counties and brought it down here to the Lehigh Valley and then further on to Philadelphia at the Port of Bristol.
The museum highlights Delaware and Lehigh canal life and technology. There are 2 operating locks on the property, a restored lock tender's house, a museum store, and more.
We think we offer a really unique experience. It's a slower experience. We're an escape from the digital world, and we're here in a beautiful environment with the outdoors of the park. So it's a really holistic experience. You know, you can go into the museum and do those things there. You can go on the canal boat. You can just have a walk around the park on a spur of the D&L Trail and just enjoy the environment.
The museum itself is on the ground floor of the Elaine and Peter Emmerich Technology Center. It is a fun, hands-on experience for all ages.
We have a lot that people can build inside and touch and explore, all talking about how the canals were built and operated and the people who did that.
You can take a trip back in time by enjoying a relaxing ride on the Josiah White Canal Boat. The boat is pulled along a 2-mile stretch of the canal by 2 mules, Hank and George, just as it was done more than 100 years ago.
There aren't very many boat rides like this left in the country. One of the last on the East Coast. And it's a very slow ride, 2 miles per hour. But the whole 45 minutes of our typical ride, you're learning about the history of our region and enjoying the scenery and seeing the different canal structures. So we're really proud that we're able to still offer that.
The National Canal Museum has an outstanding collection of scale model canal boats and tools used in the boat building business. There's also a water table where visitors, young and old, can build their own canal system, and exhibits interpreting canal life and canal-related industries.
Every year we have a new exhibit at the museum. We really like to keep the museum fresh for visitors. We want to give them a reason to come back year after year. And we also like to just explore new topics. It gives us a way to research and come up with new ways to interpret history for the public.
The museum and canal boat rides run Wednesdays through Sundays from the beginning of June through the beginning of October. There is an admission charge.
So we use the same techniques that they did. Obviously there's less traffic on the canal these days. Back in its heyday in the 1850s, there would have been boats going back and forth, over 80 a day on this section of canal.
School groups are also invited to book tours where they can engage in activities that help them learn how canals were built.
So in the spring every year we offer our Immersion Days field trips. And it's a wonderful experience for local schools. They're able to come in and they take a short canal boat ride, and then they break up into different lesson rotations. So they learn about canal life, they do laundry 1800s style, they learn to blow a conch shell, they learn about geology and blacksmithing, friction and buoyancy, and simple machines. So we really try to tie in the STEM concepts, to really work into the school curriculums. So we hope that visitors leave their experience here at the museum having a really good understanding of the importance of the canal system, the railroad system, the anthracite coal that was transported on them, and how that really sparked the American Industrial Revolution, not just for our region, but for our country. We were supplying a lot of the iron that was building the buildings, building the ships, building the railroads that allowed our country to really prosper.
For hours, prices, and special programs, visit canals.org online.
D&L National Heritage Corridor connects people to industrial heritage through health and wellness activities.
Whether they're hiking, biking, rollerblading, it's an ideal place to get out in the world of nature here.
It is open for walking, running, biking, strollers. A lot of people often don't think about some of the seasonal uses that could be done in like the winter. You can cross-country ski on sections of it, snowshoe on sections of it.
Those using the D&L Trail can make a commitment to improving their overall health outdoors.
We're out here in the sunshine on a nice day. We're walking, we're getting exercise.
We try to come out here once or twice a month and just ride the trail.
We've gone kayaking off of it, bike all the time, and hike.
It's actually very, very pretty, and that's one of the things I do like it. Plus, it's right along the water, and that's always a nice ambiance, so that's why I enjoy it.
We like biking, and having the low stress availability of the trail, being able to go long distance, see different towns, see the beautiful parts of the Lehigh Valley, all of that is a really good combination of things.
People can use the trail in many ways. Walking your dog, exploring the canal history on the towpath, taking in nature and participating in health challenges such as Get Your Tail on the Trail.
We have a partnership with St. Luke's University Health Network called Get Your Tail on the Trail, helping people to, for free, you log on, you create an account, and you log your miles when you're out on the trails, walking, running, biking, paddling. And it really is just to encourage that habit of getting out in nature, learning about the history, finding new trails, and we try to educate folks on where they can go, and then every now and then plan some events to gather folks that love the trails to learn more.
Other groups use sections of the trail for 5K, 10K, and half marathons.
We actually have our own D&L half marathon walk and run that we use the D&L Trail for to fundraise for the Heritage Corridor. So there's a lot of potential for folks to use it for charity events as long as the landowners approve it.
Those on the trail tell us why they enjoy their time outdoors.
I use the trail because it keeps my mind healthy. I really am big on mindfulness, and it's gorgeous to be here and hear nothing other than the insects and the water.
Living in Lehighton, from our house all the way up down to the trail, up through Weissport, up along the river and the canal, get to see all kinds of animals and wildlife, and drive up right into Jim Thorpe, and then we go up into the gorge and ride through the gorge.
I think really the sky is the limit for how people can use it, and we would love for more people to be able to come out and let us know how they're using it, so that we can then make sure that we maintain the trail and work with the landowners in a way that can make it great for generations to come. We would encourage anyone that's interested in supporting the D&L to become a member. Membership benefits provide access to the Josiah White II canal boat rides, the National Canal Museum, and access to the archives. So if people are interested in special events along the trail and at the museum, membership is a great way to support the organization and help this heritage area continue to expand our reach.
I think my favorite time of the year to be on the trail is always autumn, because there's a little briskness in the air and it feels like you're not quite so tired.
When you're walking here and you have 2 inches of snow, and the snow covers decorates the trees and the landscaping, it's a Christmas card.
I would say spring and fall, late summer, fall. So not too hot. You kind of get to see the seasons changing. Very beautiful, very comfortable.
It's very serene and peaceful in the wintertime because there's nobody here.
Fall is beautiful. It's a little cooler, and the leaves are changing, and it just makes it a lot more enjoyable to ride.
The fall, yeah, it's just so beautiful in this part of the state.
We come all year long until it gets so cold that we just can't take it anymore. We're out here all the time. And if we can't ride our bikes because of snow or ice, we come out and walk the trail.
I come down here spring, summer, winter, even on the trail, it's never plowed, but you can come down with your spikes on and you can make it pretty far if you're willing to do that. So I love all seasons.
As we look to the future, there are still some sections of the trail yet to be developed. But with grants and donations, the goal is to fill the gaps.
Our focus over the next decade or so will be making sure we close the gaps, making sure we improve sections. We have had a couple tropical storms in the last 2 years that have not been kind to areas along the river, but our landowners are dedicated and the communities are dedicated to making sure that we rebuild in the best way possible. Once we get those gaps closed, we'll have a lot more ability to even triple and quadruple our economic impact in the communities.
Those who use the D&L Trail may not realize it, but they contribute to the local economy in more ways than one.
The trail users not only need food and drinks, places to stop while they are utilizing the trail. A lot of times they're looking for rest areas. Maybe they're going to stay overnight, so an Airbnb or a hotel is always convenient. But they're going to stock up on the things that they have with them. So we know that these trail riders, while they're using the trails, are important, but also they're exploring new places. And they're going to come back and they're going to bring their families back.
Today, the corridor is a lively, vibrant place to live. Towns and cities are revitalized, and their historic districts have been preserved.
There are places in every town that are catering to trail users, and they could be pizzerias, ice cream shops, outdoor stores, whatever, all along the trail.
The Delaware and Lehigh National Heritage Corridor is a true public-private partnership. It takes residents and volunteers working with local, regional, and national entities to conserve the cultural and natural resources along the D&L Trail in the 5 counties of eastern Pennsylvania.
We actually, as the D&L Heritage Area, do not own any of the trail. We work with over 30 different landowners. So they range from the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, for example, Delaware Canal State Park and Lehigh Gorge State Park, Bureau of Forestry. And then there's county ownership, Carbon County owning some, Lehigh County owning some, and then municipal ownership. City of Easton owns it near the National Canal Museum, and then a few nonprofits. So it really does take a lot of people working together to make sure that we can connect the whole trail.
You can help with the trail's future by becoming a member of the D&L National Heritage Corridor and get these great benefits: complimentary unlimited entry to the National Canal Museum and unlimited rides on the Josiah White II canal boat, discounts on events like the D&L Heritage Half Marathon and in our National Canal Museum shop, and access to museum archives.
The region is amazing, and we are really glad that we can work with so many partners to connect the industrial heritage, the economic development, the health and wellness, and the outdoor recreation and nature and the environment.
You can get more information on the D&L Trail and the Delaware and Lehigh National Heritage Corridor by going to delawareandlehigh.org or following them on Facebook and Twitter.
I would love to hear about more people getting out on day trips, trying out new sections of the trail, using it for geocaching. I have heard of many people going out and finding some of the sites or setting up their own sites. I think really the sky is the limit for how people can use it, and we would love for more people to be able to come out and let us know how they're using it, so that we can then make sure that we maintain the trail and work with the landowners in a way that can make it great for generations to come.
That wraps up our 3-part series on the D&L Trail from the Lehigh Gorge through the Lehigh Gap. Thanks for watching.